Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the webinar. It's just about 4 o'clock. My name's Stuart Payne. I'm the Strategy Director for Neo Technology. And as you can see from the screen, today I'm going to be talking to you about how to ensure your business succeeds, and specifically with digitalisation and digital transformation, which I've highlighted as DT, for digital transformation. So we're just going to do some sense checks, check out the technology, ensure that you are able to hear us. So I'm going to ask you to send me some stuff in the chat, and please, by all means, let me know whereabouts in the world you are, which country you are in at the moment, maybe what the weather's like. I'd be really keen to know. It's been super cold here. We're in Leeds today, and yeah, it's not really got far off freezing. It's been down at -5, so pretty cold, certainly in the evenings. And interestingly, actually, that's why this year we're going to be sending out e-cards to all of our clients, customers, etc. And instead of sending paper-based cards and paying for the postage, we're going to donate that money to shelter. So, which is quite interesting. I'm going to sneeze. Do apologise for that. I'm just getting over a cold, probably caused by burning the candle at both ends and working so much. But there's a lot of demand out there at the moment for digitalisation and digital transformation. So, as I say, we're a minute into 4 o'clock. I'll just give it another 30 seconds and then we'll start talking about how to ensure your business succeeds, and let technology drive that pace, drive the energy, create the reason, no, not the reason for change, but help transform your organization. Because the reason for change we'll be talking about in a minute, and the reason to become more efficient, etc. So today we're going to be covering off 12 steps, which is actually a little bit later in the presentation or in the webinar, but they are key steps and vital steps to driving or achieving success using technology. Digitalisation of process and digital transformation comes after you've done all of these things and you start to be able to become a disruptor in your sector. And I suppose as part of that, and I might suppose collaboration is essential, because we need to make sure that we are taking our employees, our colleagues, our business partners on a journey that they believe in, that they will work hard to deploy or deliver in order to achieve success. So yeah, put it in the chat, anybody. If you're in a different country, let me know. If you're in a different region within the UK, let me know. It's always good. Even let me know what sector you operate in. So whether you're in e-commerce or manufacturing or service, let me know. So I've got Alex, and that's he's from London. Greetings. And he's saying it's dismal and cold. Well, hopefully, Alex, I'm going to brighten your day up. I'm going to show you some methodologies in order for you to achieve greater success and move forward with your goals. So, right, okay, let's start. So as I say, I'm Stuart Payne. I'm the Strategy Director for Neo Technology. And Neo Technology are a software solutions partner or a technology solutions partner. And so we go into organizations, understand where things aren't maybe quite as efficient as they can be and how technology can actually change it. So what we're doing with a lot of people is increasing adoption of self-service. And we're doing that by building brilliant portals with really simple UX in order to, as I say, drive that adoption and usability. And that way it's freeing up your colleagues, your employees, you to do more. And to do more in terms of growing your business instead of running around like headless chickens. So less of Neo, and let's start to look at why somebody might want to look at digitalization, digital transformation, and using technology to achieve success. Yeah. So some of it will be actually that you are concerned about how to engage customers. You know, I use lots of analogies as I'm going through the webinar, but you know, a lot of shopper habits have changed significantly since COVID. You know, that was a key driver of getting people to buy and use online services. And I know certainly from a personal perspective, lots of customers of mine and people that I know in terms of the way that they shop don't really want to talk to a human, and most of them want an answer now. That's probably why they don't really want to talk to a human, because they're never that quick. Because they're going to go and find the answer. Actually, if you've built some software that tells you that answer instantly, then you know you're going to satisfy your customer, and you're potentially going to get more revenue, more sales. So, are you being disrupted? Is there another organisation coming into your sector and doing things differently, which is really shaking your sector down? And their market share is increasing. They're taking market share from you, and it's affecting your revenue. Again, you can become the disruptor by digitalization of process, by using digital technology to go through a transformation process and make your organization the future and the future you. So these are some of the issues. As I say, you know, a lot of the time IT are too busy. I was talking to a client the other day, and they were telling me that somebody had developed a brilliant piece of software using low code, no code, but they'd done it a year ago and it still wasn't released. And that was because they were constantly being given other priorities from other people. And so it just got forgotten about and it dropped off the radar. They didn't operate an agile process, so it wasn't within the backlog. And that could be radical in terms of moving that business's efficiency forward and achieving some real efficiency around, similar to what we've done before, around 40% for other people. And that's typically a market value in terms of the efficiency line. Or are you at risk of being hacked? You know, there's a lot of cyber warfare, as I've seen it called today, and making sure that your systems are secure, probably more secure in the cloud than they are on a server sat in your office or a data center sat somewhere else. You know, if you need help with that migration, then get it, because the last thing you want to do is see your systems go down. So these are all some of the reasons why people start to look at digitalization of process and digital transformation. And a big one here is that, you know, your old systems are just not fit for purpose. They're too long, they're too long-winded. You've got people having to do things 2 or 3 times, which is just ridiculous in today's society. You know, you really don't need to do that. So what we're going to do now, that's the reasons for change. Yeah. What we're going to do now is just look at the key takeaways that you're going to get from this webinar, and hopefully you'll be able to use some of these takeaways, some of this insight, to be able to drive some transformation, some digitalization within your organization. So as I say, I'm Stuart Payne. I'm the strategy director at Neo Technology, and I'm going to help you with these takeaways. So I'm going to make sure that it's as easy as possible for your customers and your colleagues, your employees, to work with you and for you. Because the easier it is to interact, the more business, the more sales you will get, and yeah, the more successful you will be. I'm also going to show you how to become the disruptor and not the disrupted. And that's about having an open mind. It's about being agile and flexible and listening to what's going on, not just in the market, you know, but what your customers and your employees are saying as well. And that will drive the operational efficiency. And typically we've improved operational efficiency by 40%. That's an industry standard, but I have seen it where we've improved operational efficiency by digitizing process. We've digitized up to, well, more than 50% of organizations' process. What does that mean? It means it doesn't need a human to do that work, and therefore it's lightning fast. It happens every day, every minute, every hour, while you're even in bed, which is great. Somebody once said to me, I want to get paid or earn money while I'm sleeping. Technology is the way to do that. Also, then we'll talk about how to improve deployment, how to increase speed to market. And again, you'll see here a brilliant statistic of 36%. The quicker you can release and deploy new applications, new methods, new ways of interacting with yourself, the more growth you will get. By the same token, then, you will be seen, because you're this transformation leader in your sector, and you've got digitalization down to a fine art, then you'll find that you'll attract more talent. And let's face it, everybody talks these days about having a real issue finding good talent, and technology is no different to that. That's why, as Neo, we use global teams, because we can get some massive cost efficiencies, but we also have a bigger talent pool. And again, I'll talk a little bit about that as well, I suppose. But ultimately, what we're looking to do is use digitalization, use digital transformation, which is the overarching picture, really to increase economic gains for organizations. And if we can achieve economic gains of 20 to 50%, you know, that's a significant gain in revenue, or a significant gain in bottom line profit, net profit. And that is just a dream to be able to take that forward within your organization. I can imagine it's vital in today's society, you know, the way that we work. So again, I've already mentioned it a little bit, but you know, what is digitalization? Digitalization is taking manual processes, and automating them. It's sequencing series of forms in order to go from A to B in a process and have total governance to be able to track what you're doing, or what your employees are doing, what your customers are doing. And it gives you that visibility of control and control. So then what's the difference then? So what is digital business transformation? Well, that's as you move through a journey and you go from A to Z, not just A to B. Yeah, so it's where you are right now and where you want to be. Once you're going through that process and you've broken the back of that, and then you'll start to transform as an organization. And that's when you add real value. And in the processes that I'm going to show you in terms of the 12 steps, which I mentioned at the beginning, and we're going to talk about that towards the end of the webinar, then you'll really start to see how you can use that to really start to transform your organization. So essentially, it's about identifying what impact technology has on your sector, on your customers. And then when you're considering what isn't working within your organization, how you can introduce technology and the change process to really bring about significant improvement. Sorry, I've got Ahmed in the room with me today. He's managing the chat. Fran's on holiday. Can you do me a favor, Ahmed, and just turn the aircon off, please, mate? So what we really want to do is bring around that significant improvement. We've just had another question come in. Does going digital improve speed to market? Absolutely it does. And I've already raised it a minute ago. Typically, as an industry standard, and this is from Forbes, Gartner, etc., you know, it improves that speed to market by 36%. And we've got some evidence where we've actually doubled speed to market for products in terms of velocity and output. So if you want to know more about that, reach out to me on LinkedIn, put a note in the chat, give us your email, or go online, visit our website, fill in a form, download some insights, some information that might help you. But either way, reach out to us. You know, we are here to help. So ultimately, what do you need to do? Well, ultimately, you need to start by thinking like a customer. And your customer, and you'll have heard this before over years, think like a customer. And the customer isn't just the person buying from you. The customer is also the person, the user, the person who's using the software that you may well deploy to drive efficiency, increase sales, etc. So really think about how that user journey might go and how you might follow it. I know certainly as Neo Technology, we do a lot of work around ensuring we've got real simple UX. We want people to be able to really get online, use the tools that we've built in order to drive seamless, simple sales. So as I say, think like that customer, really put yourself in their shoes when you're thinking about the flow, the workflow of that journey. And I've got a little chart later on that just shows you how some companies operate in terms of silo approach or a siloed approach, and how actually nobody works that way, because your customers go through every silo of your organization. Your employees use every department within your organization. So think about how they would operate, and then build a flow, a process flow around that. But I suppose ultimately then, and this is easy for me to say, make sure you make brilliant technology that makes your business brilliant. Because if your business is brilliant, you're going to retain your employees, you're going to attract newer, better talent, you're going to win more customers, you're going to have more satisfied customers. So let's make sure you've got the right skill, the right resources, to actually deliver and scale in that way. And I'm going to show you through the 12 steps how to do that. We'll talk a bit more about it as well. Now, I've probably made that sound easy. Yeah, probably have, but a word of caution, and I've got to really stress this. Typically less than 30% of digital business transformation initiatives succeed. Now, that's not the same for digitization, because you can pick up individual products or individual processes as you go, as long as you think about that flow through your organization and make sure when you automate those processes, you're really thinking about the impact on the rest of the business, the rest of the organization. But really consider about why they fail. Be aware of them, because actually, if you are aware of the pitfalls, you'll learn and understand how to navigate around or away from those pitfalls. So what I'm going to do now is just talk through some of the frustrations and challenges that people have and the causes of those. Because you might say, my system isn't working properly. That's a frustration and a challenge. But actually the problem might be your laptop or your desktop or your legacy system, or the fact that you've on premise somewhere and you're not benefiting from brilliant Wi-Fi. You have to go through and identify really the cause of the problem, not just get frustrated and talk about that frustration all the time. So let's go through some of these. So a lot of the time, this is the reason why digital transformation might well fail. And it's because there's not got enough revenue or budget coming in. You've just been disrupted. How are you going to get the budget to actually spend to actually then move forward? You need to really think about that in terms of investment, in terms of return on investment, and really start to use technology to drive out some of the cost in your organization if that's your situation. And I think, if you will talk a little bit about Agile as a methodology, DevOps, and adding incremental value day by day by day, as you do that, it's easier to then say, okay, I'm going to start small, and then I'm going to invest a bit more and invest a bit more and invest a bit more as I get the revenue churning back into my organization. So that's a really important one. Inefficiency is a frustration. It's usually driven by the fact that people are too busy because you've got too many manual processes. Or it just takes too long to find an answer. You know, I've got clients and organizations who just, for them to put a report together that shows the situation, the state of the business at that time, at that point in time, in real time, it just takes them a week to do that. And somebody sat there doing that for that length of time. It's so inefficient. And it's such an easy fix with today's tools, you know, the technology that we have. Either that or change is too slow for some reason. You've got low customer satisfaction. You've got a lack of skill in your teams, which means you can't deploy quick enough, or you don't really know what technology can do for you. Probably your business landscape's changed, you're being disrupted. You're too busy running around maintaining the status quo, or the change is just feeling too hard because you haven't got people on board. Yeah, you're losing market share, I've already mentioned. You just have a look at that air conditioning, please. Or that you're losing your best talent and they're going somewhere else because they've got the best tools, the best software. It's enabling them to improve and be a better them. So you need to make sure you're delivering all this stuff. And if your profits are being squeezed, you know, efficiency is a key way to improve that and improve your profitability. I work with people every day who ask about, can we improve profitability by 5%? Well, we know that typically a successful transformation process and using digitization or digitalization can benefit organizations financially by between 20 and 50%. So let's really focus on that. Give me 30 seconds. Back. Let's unmute me, boys and girls, people. Right, so as I say, sorry about that. I'm Stuart Payne. I'm the Strategy Director for Neo Technology. I'm just getting over a cold, as you can probably tell, and the air conditioning in this room really isn't helping me. But I'm a survivor. There's a song there somewhere. Anyway, so we've looked at frustrations and challenges. Ahmed's rolling around on the floor now because I've said that. We've looked at some of these frustrations and challenges and just highlighted them. But I think it's more important that we actually look at the causes of that. It's a lack of cohesive strategy, you know, and there's a process you have to go through in order to really get that cohesion and a plan, what we would call typically a roadmap to drive that. So I've also then got another Colin online through YouTube is saying he's just got too many manual processes, but that's a frustration. So let's look at the causes. Yeah, lack of cohesive strategy is certainly one. No leadership buy-in, and that's typically because they don't understand the return on investment, or they don't understand actually the challenges that you're facing in today's environment. And you know, as I say, if you go through a process of developing a strategy and a roadmap, then you know you're going to be in a better place to then go and present to your leadership team and really show them what can be achieved. And there'll be lots of case studies out there that you could pull on as well. So I know we have lots on the website. So if you're looking for case studies or insights, visit the website, have a look at the resources section. A lot of the time as well, in terms of common causes, you know, you've got this way of doing things and systems and processes, and you've been doing that like that for 20 years. Well, that was fine 20 years ago. In fact, I had a brilliant one. I had I met with a client on Monday, and they told me a story about there's two world records for changing tyres in an F1 race. And they took these two examples. One was back 50 years ago or whenever. And they've got a video of a guy changing the wheels, going into the pit lane, jacking up the tyres, all of these manual ways of doing things. And I think it took something like 11 minutes to change the tyres on the car. Now, in its time, that was a world record for the fastest tyre change. But we're talking about 50 years, 20 years ago. Now, I don't know if any of you are into F1, but now they change them in a matter of seconds. And the speed of the process is so much more efficient. The technology around the car and in the car, the way that they release the nuts and bolts, etc. It's automated. They use technology to speed that process up. Now, both of them were winning formulas. It's just what is a winning formula in 2022, 2023 and beyond is so much faster because of the technology that we can use. So I've also then got Colin just asking, how do I secure employees through leadership buy-in? We'll go through it in the 12 steps. So I'll show you that. Again, it's towards the end of the webinar. But, you know, we will get to it. So bear with me, Colin. It'll be really insightful. I'm sure that you'll get a lot out of it. So other causes are silo mentality. And as I say, I've got a piece on that in a little while. Again, that I can show you the impact of breaking that and working collaboratively and flexibly. And of course, poor communications, you're never going to get buy-in unless you are communicating what you're trying to achieve and why. It's so important that you bring that to the forefront of one of your aims and goals is why are you doing it and what are you doing. And if you don't have that, then you'll have that no definition of success. So you'll never get buy-in. You'll just get stuck. And a lot of the time we work with organisations who started a process and then they've just got stuck and it's gone nowhere. Again, and as another example, I was given some documents a week or so ago, 2 weeks ago, about their as is, so where they are right now, and their to be in terms of their aspiration and what they want to achieve. It was a year old, was a document, and nothing had changed. And that's why we're getting involved now, to start to free up that, take the friction away, and start to really drive momentum to deploy much quicker. So bureaucracy is a brilliant blocker and a common cause of not achieving digitization goals, digital transformation goals. We've got a lack of resource. Well, actually, there is no lack of resource. You've just got to get the right partners to work with you to provide that resource at the right cost. And again, I can talk to you about that because typically we save organizations 40% on the cost of resource and skill set and really open up the talent pool for organizations. And we're not a recruiter. We're a digital transformation or a digital solutions partner. Yeah, software development business. So just to remind you, I'm Stuart. I'm the strategy director. So next, too many manual processes, which just causes inefficiency. We've then got resistance to change, and that's usually caused by poor communications that have gone before you, or they've had that somebody's tried something and they've had their fingers burn. They don't want to do it again. Changing customer behaviour, which is just so significant now, certainly since COVID. People just buy in a very, very different way. And you need to be able to offer omni-channel solutions and allow those customers to buy how they want to buy, restructure your organization to drive that efficiency and let them buy through automated channels. Obviously, if your profits are being squeezed, then you won't be able to go and invest significantly. So you have to start at the beginning of a process and follow it to get that incremental value, which I've already mentioned. So just quickly now, we've gone through those elements in terms of frustrations and causes. I'm interested to know what your common causes are. So I want to do a poll. So please put in the chat. I'm going to go through a little list in a minute and then tell me which ones of these it is. So fire into the chat what the cause of your problem is. We've already seen Colin saying it's too many manual processes. I'd like to know from the rest of you what it is that's stopping you achieving digitalisation and digital transformation, and also why you are looking to go digital with your organisation. So this is the list and the slide that I showed you right at the beginning. So is it bureaucracy, as in too many layers within your organisation? Everybody wants a say and you never get to the point of a real specification that somebody can create. So just put in the chat bureaucracy if that's what you think it is. Too many manual tasks. Well, Colin's already put that, so you don't need to put it again. We've got that, Colin. But if anybody else is struggling with manual tasks, again, just put manual tasks in the chat. It's just costing you too much to try and achieve digitalisation and digital transformation. You know, I come across clients all the time who are paying thousands of pounds a day for software development. I've come across people who are spending £700 odd a day for software development. Well, if you've got the right partner, you won't have that problem. And as I said before, you know, typically we save people about 40% on their contractor rates. So again, if that's a problem, just put software development is too expensive. If you're concerned about how to engage customers because their shopping habits have changed, just put concerned about engaging customers. Legacy systems, so your old systems that just are not fit for purpose anymore, or are too slow, too old. You do something and it crashes and then you've got to start again. Put legacy systems. If you've been disrupted, as in another player's come into your sector, they're using technology to drive revenue, they're in the flow, they've got the customer experience going really well, and you're losing business, put disrupted. If you're struggling to get access to teams with the right skills, just put lack of skill. Or if your IT team are always busy because their priorities just keep coming in from other areas of the business, just put IT always too busy. Or if you think you're at risk of being hacked, in fact, even more than that, if you've been hacked, put hacked. So let's start getting through that in the chat. And I'll carry on a little bit and come back to it because there's a latency when you're using the streaming service. So as I say, Colin's already put in there about having too many manual processes. So yeah, so put it in the chat and then we can start to share some insights and I can start to tweak the webinar around what you're looking to get out of this session. But ultimately what we want to do is deliver return on investment. And so far all we've spoken about is how things get stuck and how to avoid them, being aware of some of those problems, and maybe what some of your goals are, and that it's potentially tough and risky. So you need to get the right partners to help you. There's nothing worse than starting something and it failing at the first hurdle. And as I say, a lot of the time, that's what we come across, and we are brought in to help make sense of what's happening, reduce the costs, and start to drive incremental value as quickly as physically possible. So why would you do it? Brilliant. Okay, so why would you go through this process? Because you're 64% more likely to achieve your business goals. And this isn't from me that's saying this. As you can see on here, it's Deloitte, it's Hexagon, it's Forbes, it's McKinsey. If you go through a process of digital transformation and digitalization of process, you're 64% more likely to achieve your goals. We've already mentioned it. You're 40% more efficient. So there's some massive gains to be had here. Next one is that, the economic gains to your top line revenue and bottom line will increase by 20 to 50%. And I know, most people would be happy with a 5% increase in profitability based on stagnant sales. And a lot of people think that sales is the answer to then achieving profitability. But unless you've got your technology right and your processes right, the automation, you're just going to be even busier. Then you're going to be looking for more people that you can't find. So to scale your business, you need to get the technology right, the digitalisation process right. And it also then helps you to increase customer satisfaction, because you can meet their requirements quicker, faster, more efficiently. Everybody talks about Uber being a disruptor in the taxi market. Everybody talks about Amazon being a disruptor in home shopping. Well, not home shopping, it's shopping now. And a lot of the reason is that you have total visibility of where your order is or your taxi is. You know when it's going to arrive. If you've got a query, it's answered within 24 hours. If you've got a query from a taxi perspective or a complaint, you can complain instantly. So it gives power to the user, to the customer. And that's why we want to go through these processes. And you're also, because of that, 71% more likely to attract new talent into your organization. And that is just an astounding statistic by any standards. But what we really want to do is improve that customer satisfaction. And as I say, this 30% figure is from companies like Deloitte, McKinsey, Gallup, Forbes, etc. Personally, I've seen customer satisfaction measured and increase beyond that, touching 40% with organizations that we've worked with. And it's just a brilliant feeling when you've got that level of satisfaction, and fewer complaints, more revenue, etc. So as well as that, then be aware that you can also then get your product to market, your service to market that much quicker. So the benefits significant. If you're worried about security, if you move to the cloud, it improves your security. You look at the likes of Microsoft, and they're spending millions and billions of dollars to ensure that they never or that they minimize getting hacked. And if you're on one of their servers or one of, in the cloud, then you're less likely to get hacked. So again, bear that in mind. You might have a server on site, or you might be using a data center somewhere. The cloud is the way to go for security, for scaling, for speed. It's just so flexible. So anyway, so there's some massive benefits to go through a digitalization process, and that's why eyes on the prize, you're prepared to go through some learning, some change, some transformation, because it makes your organization that much better. So the next slide I'm just showing you here now is some of the benefits that we've delivered as Neo. So it's not as distant and as far out as reading it in a report from Gartner or Forbes, etc. These are real. So 43% cost saving on technology, 68% of customers using self-service. I mean, can you imagine your own organization if you had your customers, 70% of them near enough, using self-service and not calling you up all of the time, or running queries and you're having to answer the phone and work things out and go and find information? It's just all to hand instantly. It's a massive benefit to your organization. And again, then, automation of processes, digitalization of forms and things like that. Again, massive savings to your organization. So we've written an ebook in terms of common challenges and how to avoid them. If you want that, then all you have to do is drop your email in the chat, and we'll send you it. Reach out to me on LinkedIn, or go online, fill out a form on our website. We're more than happy to give you access to the documentation and to the insights that may well help you. So I've got a few things on here now. Too many manual tasks. And then there's another one around why are people hostile to change in terms of digitalisation or digital change. And I think that that's a communications issue. I think people, I've said it already, but they want to know why you're going to make that change and what that change is going to be. And you need to communicate that openly. You know, there's a reason for you doing this. It's not just because you want to create angst and change for change's sake. You know, the economy is slowing. You need to be more efficient. People's buying behavior has changed and you need to accommodate that. So, you know, meetings with employees and colleagues to share that is definitely the way forward. So 90%, 97% of companies believe that cultural change should be integral to digital business transformation. And I totally agree with that. And that's because it's going to help you achieve your key goals. You know, you can't just say, I'm going to ram this software down somebody's throat and make sure and enforce they use it. Again, a bit like I was saying, you know, with Alex's question, you need to tell them why and the benefits of it and the benefits to your business, not to you as an individual, but the benefits of the business, because it will help it survive and thrive. It'll stop you losing business to disruptors who've got this bit right, where you might not have because your processes are old or your systems are old and outdated and you're stuck. So you really need to think about those key business goals and what you want to achieve through digitalisation. So some of them here, and again, you've seen this slide before earlier on in the presentation, you know, but these are the things, some of the things that you should be looking at. These should be your priority goals because you want to make you as easy to work with or work for from a customer and a colleague perspective. You want to not avoid being disrupted by others. And in fact, maybe you can be the disruptor. You want to increase customer satisfaction, employee satisfaction. You want to get your product and service to market faster. You want to give people easier access to buy from you. You want to migrate customers to self-serve portals, and 50% on here is not a bad target. You've seen before how we've got touching 70%. But you know, it's obvious that that drives brilliant efficiency. And again, you might just want cost savings from your software development and transformation process. And again, you know, I mean, I'm not here to sell Neo, but we can definitely help you with that and the economic gains. So take this list, really think about how you can make brilliant technology, because it's not that easy. Yeah. We need to make sure that we're getting it right and that you're achieving these goals. So we have a document. It's called the Future You document. And again, you can ask for it in the chat. You can message me on LinkedIn. I can share it with you. And it pulls out and draws out your thinking by asking some very poignant and specific questions. It gets you started on that journey. And if you're on that journey, it'll highlight where you might be stuck. And it gives you a solid framework to work forward. So again, you know, reach out online, come on to LinkedIn, DM me, and I'll send you the document. As I say, Fran's on holiday in America at the moment, so she won't be able to for the next week or two. So reach out to me and we'll make sure you get it. So really then, we want to look at 12 steps and what this looks like. Yeah, what are the best practices to get you success with digitalisation and digital transformation and get you from A to B, A to Z. Yeah, because that's where really the power is, and that's where really you can start to change your sector. So we spoke before about thinking like the customer, and you can see here I've listed some areas within an organisation. And every client is influenced by your marketing. They outreach to your sales team and ask questions on how to buy. They then, once they've bought the product or the service, They then talk to your customer service team, and they help deploy or manage the projects. And then it goes into operations, whether it's manufactured or serviced or fitted, etc. Through finance, and then through into aftercare. Now, so many organizations operate in marketing. What are you in? I'm in marketing. Well, no, you're not. You're in whatever your goal of your organization is, whatever your mission is. And you've got to understand that you as an employee within marketing will still impact on sales and customer service, etc. But most of all, that your customer will be impacted by every department. So don't think in silo, think in a line, a customer journey, and devise strategies and processes, automate the systems that run in that direction, not in that direction, because you'll just get stuck. So make sure you've got all of this stuff working. So wherever, this is the beginning of a process. So you need to be able to identify the risks. You need to be able to analyze the impact, bring through the right strategy, have a development plan to be able to execute that, and then measure and maintain, support what you've got. Because ultimately this is a circular process, and you want to make sure that you are forever improving and adding incremental value, because that's how you get buy-in. It's not, oh, we're going to do this, and a year later somebody sees something. It's literally every 2 weeks, show them something that's changed. Show them the benefit of what that change has been. That's where you want to get to in terms of driving the commitment from your colleagues to help you succeed. So, but what you're going to need, you're going to make sure, like, you're going to need to know that you've got the right skills, the right data-driven solutions, the right cloud engineers, the right modern engineering techniques, all of these things that you're going to need. You need to be able to add scale with your teams. You need to be able to manage projects. You need to be able to deploy enterprise platforms, and be software agnostic, because actually, there's so much technology out there now. Don't be closed-minded to one. You can have a middle layer, an integration layer, and you can plug and play best of breed elements through your finance, your HR, your marketing, etc. You're going to need time, and you're going to need digital experience and experiences to be able to actually succeed. If you haven't got these things in-house, reach out to partners and talk to them about it, because that's what they do. They add the scale, they manage the projects, they help you identify what our roadmap should look like. If you want to have a go on your own, I've never seen anybody succeed particularly well on their own. Get this book. Global talent might just be the answer, but it's the benefits of a DevOps strategy. And in there's a piece about global teams and the benefits of that as well, in terms of being able to add scale and get more talent. But let's now look at the 12 steps. So you've got, what we're saying is essentially you've got all this stuff in place, but you need to make sure that you're delivering. So the 12 steps is the way forward. So I've got a little chart at the end of these 12 steps. And again, if you want it, reach out, DM me, I'll send you it. But step 1, identify and evaluate your current situation. What is your as is right now? And get some detail. If you can't get the detail, get somebody in to help you get that detail, because you'll start to identify where your issues are and what the problems are and what the cost of not changing is. And that is significant in terms of securing management buy-in, because you'll go backwards. If you don't make the change, ultimately people will take over you and do a better job. Set the right goals and take action is another one. Close your skills gap, which we've already spoken about. You can do that by trying to employ, and you can do that by accessing global teams. You can do that by accessing a partner who has the skill set that can come in and work with you in order to fill the skills gap. Get the buy-in. I've got a session in January with a client, and they're a relatively new client. I'm on site for 3 days, not on my own, but there's some other colleagues there as well with me. And we're going to listen to what their colleagues have to say in an organised way, with a methodology to extract information so that we can start to get buy-in and we can start to act on some of the things that maybe they think that could be improved. Clearly, by doing that, you're removing the fear, which is brilliant. Because there's another stat somewhere that people are generally scared of coming out of their comfort zone. You need to be able to have brilliant communication, tell them the tools, give them the tools and the talent to be able to actually deploy and get them to talk. Remove that fear is so important. Focus on your comms, keep telling everybody why and what you're trying to achieve, or what you're trying to achieve and why you're trying to achieve it. Enable the collaboration, I've already mentioned it. Be open and be agile in your methodology. Make sure you're reviewing daily what is being done with the technology. Make sure you're demoing every 2 weeks, so that your teams, your people, your colleagues can get visibility. Even ask your customers so you've got ongoing feedback, and then you can tweak your product as you build it, or the solution as you build it. And that drives ongoing engagement and that dialogue to keep feeding back, so you can keep improving and have that development, efficiency and change management process, because every time you're showing incremental value, people buy in a little bit more, and it'll just build. Ultimately though, you need to evaluate what you're doing, you need to refine what you're doing, and once you get the product that everybody likes or the solution that everybody likes, scale it. But keep refining, keep checking if there's a better way of doing it. It doesn't all have to be expensive change. Adopt low code, no code, and you'll be able to do, or you'll have people who can do a lot of it themselves, certainly in time with some training anyway. So this is the 12 steps. I've just spoken about them. If you want this, I can send you it. There is also an ebook around the 12 steps. If you want this diagram here in terms of the agile methodology, where we're reviewing every 24 hours, where we're demoing and planning the next 2 weeks, again, I can send you that. It's a simple diagram, but it's really effective. And if you want to find out more about that, you can download this book. So this is Ensure Your Business Succeeds with Digital Transformation. I've got some more questions now. So I need a development team to digitalize my company. What should I look for in a team? Definitely, you should be looking for an agile DevOps methodology. I did a webinar maybe a month ago now, and people were saying that they're not seeing what their solutions for between 2 and 5 months. It's just too long. You have no visibility. Then by the time you see it, it's not what you thought it was going to be, and it's too long-winded. Make sure you're operating this methodology is what I would say. What's the best way to measure digital business success? Well, I think it's all of those things that I mentioned earlier around the frustrations and removing those frustrations, because you'll have more budget because you've got more revenue. You'll have a happier workforce. You'll have brilliant customer success. You'll grow in sales, etc. And I think that that's really important. And the best way to measure it is to go through questionnaires, in my opinion. You can see it in your bottom line. That would be obvious. But really go back and ask your customers how it's going. Go back and ask your employees if it works and if there's any change needed to improve it. That's the whole point of this, is that it's an ongoing method of running your organization. So, as I say, if you want the ebook, again, just drop it in the chat. Drop your email in the chat and we'll send you the ebook. Message me on LinkedIn. Visit the website. There's a section in resources where you can download these things. And yeah, reach out to me. So as I say, I'm Stuart Payne. I'm the Strategy Director for Neo Technology. We live and breathe these things every day in terms of removal of friction in the process. We don't want organizations to get stuck. We want them to grow, and technology can help you do that. Okay.